told me 50 years. 50 years you guys been together. Back from those days down Broad Street at the Rum Runner. Don Barrow's place, Don Barrow and his brothers and Sabbath were in there. How did you get the gig as the house band?
I joined that band originally when it was called Fred's Box. And I know, what a great name. And I joined Fred's Box. Oh, blimey. And Tony joined afterwards when we changed. Then he left, and we had another guitar player, and then we called ourselves Magnum. And then he left, and Tony joined Magnum at the Rum Run, and we was one of the two resident bands, you know. And we actually did for 3 years, 72, 4 years we did there. And then we moved on because we weren't required anymore by the management.
We got the sack, really. That was the
Was that? I read somewhere that you got the boot because you started to get a bit adventurous, doing a bit of Steely Dan and Steve Miller.
Yeah. Well, also, like I said to the guys, I'm starting to write some songs. Let's do some, my songs. Just pop them in now and then, and. Not long after that, we got the sax, so I'm not sure how to read that.
When did you support Dell Shannon? I came across that bit of curio. That was when you were Magnum or before?
No, we were Magnum, and that was after we'd had the sack. Yeah. And I'm saying to the guys, "Don't worry, I can get us some work," and all that sort of rubbish. Got in contact with some agent guy. I can't really remember his name, and I met him at Barbarella's, and he's going, "Oh, okay, Del Shannon needs a band," and I'm going, "Yeah, no problem." I remember, obviously, Runaway when it first came out. I was like a little kid, I think, but it was. Dell was a great singer, and like we did a tour with him. I mean, we were doing like 2 gigs a night, and with no roadies and things like that, nowhere to sleep, sleeping on the floors of people's houses.
Yeah,
and
people
things.
just put us up. Well,
you
can lie there. Oh, thank you very much.
But it was great. I mean, he was like. It was tough work, but it was great, really great, enjoyed. I mean, I can remember being in Los Angeles many years later, and then seeing Dell on the TV. I was in a hotel, and I said, "Wow, there's Dell! Look, and like he killed himself." It was like I couldn't believe it.
You have come a long way since sleeping on that cafe floor when you were recording that first album. You'd done Sweet So My Sweet, which was, and then with a bit of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. Then you're recording the album on You're Sleeping on the Floor, and then Kingdom of Madness turns out, and that's when the madness first starts, because you got the recognition or began to get the seeds of recognition.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it was at the time when punk was happening, and we were making the most opposite sort of music.
Couldn't get more different, could you?
Yeah, more different than Kingdom of Madness. And like it was all punk stuff happening at the time. But everyone was laughing at us, thinking, what a pretentious album and all that, which it probably was. But it sort of made a bit of noise for us, and I think it sort of snuck into the charts.
Yeah, it went in the top 50 low down, but it was in there at least.
Yeah.
And it got remembered, and the next album did great as well following that one. And we'd never been fashionable, but that's how we started to pick up our audience, and by doing support tours with various bands. And
because you did with UFO, didn't you, in Germany, a first tour over there?
Yeah,
went to Germany with UFO, and we went all around the UK with Judas Priest and other bands, and Def Leppard in the 80s, and that's how we picked up our audience. And
Chase the Dragon.
Yeah,
you got Jeff Glicksman in as a producer, which it looks a bit of a coup because he'd had big success with Kansas, with Left Overture and Point of No Return. Yeah. Was that planned? Did you go looking for a big producer?
No. What it was, David Arden came to me and said that he said, "I've got this guy who I want to get him to produce the album for you." I asked who he was, you know. I mean, Kansas were one of my favourite bands at the time. And I thought, wow, fantastic. And like, unfortunately, what happened was we recorded the album and Jeff went back to America. And then I don't think it came out for 2 years. Like we were all, you know, twiddling our fingers, waiting for it to happen. I think Jet Records was having a sort of bit of a bad time at that was happening when our album should have been coming out. So, but I went over to America and I finished off a guitar solo or something like that, and Jeff mixed the album and came back and played it to David and the guys at the Jet Records, and they all loved it. So we were really pleased. Who did we tour with? That called Crocus. Yeah, that was it.
Because your album went in higher in the charts than theirs did.
Yeah, right, yeah. Hilarious.
It was great. Yeah,
great. Yeah.
Well, that got you on the tour, didn't it? With Aussie,
with the Aussie Osborne,
yeah, difficult circumstances because it was the second part of the tour after Randy Rhoads had passed.
That's right.
Yes, that's right.
But what was it like touring and living and partying with Ozzy Osbourne in his peak years of debauchery?
Well,
we travelled separately. We didn't see much of him, really.
Not really, no.
It wasn't like we weren't all on the same buses and all that. It was all separate. And they gave us a really good crew to look after us and set the equipment up and that. But we did travel separately. But I mean, I think some of the band used to pop into us to see if we'd got any booze in the dressing room because Ozzy had been banned from drinking.
That was it, yeah.
That's it. That's what I remember.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
You did Reading as well, didn't you? 1980. Does it almost brings a tear to the eye, doesn't it? Looking at the lineups back then, looking at them now, you think, oh my God, wouldn't you have loved to have been there? On that day that you were there, Whitesnake, Def Leppard, Gary Moore, Budgie. There's a bit of a story there, of course, obviously, because Burke Shelley passed away literally in the last 48 hours.
I forgot to tell you.
Oh,
yeah,
forgot to tell you. I forget. Yeah, Burke's gone, yeah.
So what do you remember of the Reading 1980 festival?
Not a lot, really.
That's the first time we did it. I know that. 30,000 people. But it's a long time ago, you know. We did it 3 times, Reading Festival.
Yeah.
So I get them mixed up.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah.
But we did the
we'll
one
talk a bit about Storytellers Night, because your 5th album is really when the life-changing events started to happen. You ended up with the big Polydor record deal. I saw a quote from you, Bob, a while back on one of these millions of interviews you've done, and you said, "I don't really know why people love it so much."
Oh, the album?
Yeah.
Which album?
Storytellers Night.
Oh, sorry, I totally lost the plot. I don't know why people love. Did I say that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I looked at it yesterday when I was doing a bit of research.
Yeah. I don't know.
That sounds like something I'd say, not Bob.
No, yeah. I mean, people I talk to, they tell me that's their favourite album of everything we've done ever.
No, that's what he's saying.
So that's the impression I get.
That's what he's saying.
Okay.
You know, like.
It's bizarre because I was going to say it was just like the album. I remember hearing that on the Friday Rock Show, and I remember it because I actually pulled over in the car and I was actually sat there, turned the engine off, and I didn't get out of the car until they finished playing all the songs that they played. It was that different.
Blimey. Well, I don't know, Robert.
In 1985, you did Donington as well, didn't you? Because that was it was a one day then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was hot. The sun shone.
Yeah. Well, that day we actually secured our record deal with Polydor. So the guy from Polydor Records was there, a guy called Michael Gola.
Yeah. And
we're playing, we were on stage and he was behind us on stage and we're thinking, blimey, I wonder what he's going to think. And we played and he went up to our manager afterwards and said, yes, I will give you a record deal. So, but in German, of course. And it sort of really took off. It helped us crazily great. It only soured after he'd left the record company. I think this always happens, that someone who works at a record company who signs you then leaves the record company, and other people are going, who are these? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bit crazy, really.
Yeah, we lost.
But we had some good years.
Well, you did Vigilante with them, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
That was with Michael Gola.
Yeah.
Who suggested Roger Taylor, by the way, as the producer?
Well, I picked him. What it was, I was in Duran Duran's office they had in London, and the two brothers who ran Duran Duran were the sons of the Barrows from the Rum Runner. And I was in their...
Paul and Michael.
Yeah. And I was in their office. And I can't remember who organised this, but I had to see about 7 or 8 people who were producers. And probably about the 6th or 7th one, suddenly Roger Taylor walks in. And I thought, oh, blimey. I mean, all the other guys I wasn't really sure about. And but I pretty knew sort of obviously about Queen and Roger. And he impressed me anyway. And I just went, yeah, well, if you want to do it, it's great, let's do it. So we went to Queen's studio in Switzerland.
Yep.
And did the album, and Roger doing his bit, and it was great.
Some great tracks on that, by the way, aren't there? That's still still hugely popular. When the World Comes Down, one. Backstreet Kid, I was playing that again the other day, and that's a fantastic track which has travelled, the decades and still sounds as great today as it did back then.
Yeah, I like that track, I'm not going to say.
You went to the Queen after-show parties, wasn't you, on the Magic Tour? Did you get to meet Freddie?
I didn't personally, no, but it was a great party. It's, you go out the door and you get given a bottle of champagne and a glass and help yourself. And a lot of people were there, and it was it's an amazing night on the Kensington Roof Gardens. That was after we'd been in the royal enclosure at the old Wembley Stadium to watch the It's a Kind of Magic last gig they did there. That was an amazing time with Rog, and he did us great. And I wish I'd have met Freddie Mercury. That's my one regret, but never mind. I must have been talking to other people, of course. But Cliff Richard was there. Yeah. And
little Cliffy.
Yeah, Cliff Richard was, he was all cordoned off. And my wife at the time leapt over the cordon wire and gave him a big kiss. She said, "Oh, I'm a fellow Christian as well," so they were getting on famously, and so I left them to it.
So you moved. So Wings of Heaven, which was your biggest, album nearly didn't achieve what it went on to do, did it? Because the original, which was produced in Holland, was it right that when you first heard it, the completed product, you just thought, no, we can't put that out? And you had to remix the entire thing.
Yeah, it was pretty much that thing. I think we were all... it was around Christmas time when we came back from Holland.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in a fantastic studio, and there was no excuse about it sounding duff. But I was really disappointed with it, and none of it was mixed. We just got rough mixes, but it was just sounding just hopeless to me. And we came back to England and we went into Psalm East, wasn't it?
Psalm West.
Psalm West then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we sort of finished it off there. But still, I have to say, it's not my favourite album, purely from the sound of it. I don't know why it sounded
Have you ever thought of remixing it again?
Yeah, I'd rather hang myself. No, I'm one of those people that I want to go forward. I can't be doing with all that.
No, you can't be looking back over your shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, what's done, what is done. You know.
Yeah.
I really. Having said that, I mean, we've just re-recorded Days of No Trust.
Yeah.
But how it should be, I think.
How it should have been, yeah.
But
you top-fived all over Europe. You were charting in countries you'd never done before. And, of course, the big thing for you is you play at the NEC, which is like the homecoming, really.
Yeah, it was good. We're doing some big gigs, really big gigs.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Yeah, Hammersmith Odeon and Wembley Arena.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, which was pretty big at the time. So the album did great for us, really. It was number 2 in the UK charts. And what can I say? It sold really great. And Magnum fans love Wings of Heaven, especially Don't Wake the Lion and stuff like that, you know. And Wild Swan. And some real good songs on there. Just pity it didn't sound better, that's all. Never mind.
The last album of that decade, which was the one that was supposed to break you into the US, the big market, the panacea for many people. Keith Olsen, as a producer, I mean, he'd had some of the biggest selling albums of the decade. Whitesnake's 1987, he'd done Aussie's No Rest for the Wicked amongst anything else. Mm-hmm. Were you excited about going over there, experiencing something new, being like on the cusp of this big moment?
Well, it was. I'd heard an album by Rick Springfield.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really good, and that was me sort of trying to convince everybody that Keith would be the geezer to produce us. I wasn't really aware of... I know that Keith had obviously had masses of success, but it was purely on this Rick Springfield album. I don't know whether it was called The Rock or something. I can't even remember now. But so, like, it was nice going to America, and I'd already been there and written some songs with people, a couple of people. But I'd also written a few songs with Russ Ballard.
Yeah.
And that was an enjoyable experience. And I've always rated Russ highly, and I think that worked good. Again, it was we were treated as if we'd gone to America and left England forever. You know, people are going, "Oh, that's it. You've gone to America." All this sort of
You've
stuff.
sold out.
Yeah, you sold out and all that.
Yeah,
but it didn't sound like it when the album came out. I mean, I've got the album. I'm looking at it at the moment. Rockin' Chair, Matter of Survival, Heartbroken Bus. I mean, they were all classic Magnum songs that could have been on any of the other previous albums.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't know. People get some crazy ideas, really. You know,
when you think about it, if you think of your style, how you write, how the songs come across, I mean, they were tailor made for the US. If there was one band that you look back at as a journalist or a writer, and you think, who's going to be? Well, they're bound to do it. They're bound to do it. Just listen to it. Everything about them, the anthem quality, the fact that you can play it on FM radio, it suits the climate. I mean, it is one of life's imponderables, how it never really happened, because you're basically the English journey, really.
Well, yeah, I mean, we never really got a chance in America. I mean, that album wasn't released in America.
Yeah, it never came out. Can you believe that?
What?
Not in America.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I know, after all that, you know.
I mean, we didn't have the ambitions to try and break America and all that sort of business. We were just there to make an album, and purely because I'd been influenced by hearing Rick Springfield's album, which was great, I thought. And,
was that Success Hasn't Spoiled Me Yet? That was the album.
Was it?
Rick Smith. Yeah, Success Hasn't Spoiled Me Yet, or Working Class Dog was the other one that he did with Keith Olsen.
Oh, okay. I can't remember which one it was, though.
Or Rock of Life.
That's it.
Oh,
that's it.
Yeah.
I thought it was something The Rock.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it was that. It was a really tasty album, that was. We played with Rick. On Bob and myself, we did a tour of Germany with.
It's called Rock Meets Classic.
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Playing with an orchestra, with Uriah Heep and
Steve Lukather.
Yeah. And
Rick Springfield.
Rick Springfield, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like about a 52-piece orchestra. Yeah. And that was like Rick was playing on that.
Yeah, great.
Cool.
It was real good.
So brilliant. Well, lastly, then, just coming back to today and the Monster Roars. Yeah. Now, the album charts are out a little bit later on. Do you still get a little buzz when you click on there to see where you've charted? Because it is going to go in the charts somewhere in the top 30 for sure. I mean, it's had so much publicity, and the advanced tracks are great. Does it still give you a bit of a buzz?
Yeah.
When we have an album out, brilliant.
Yeah, it's a big buzz.
Yeah, that's what you've worked for the last 2 years. It's great when it comes. People can actually hear it. Yeah, that's all you want to do. You want the audience to hear the album and start going on tour. You know, that's what we normally do. It's a very exciting time for us and the band, and it's what we're geared up to do. that's our life, and that's your blood, when an album comes out. So
because you've said that you and Tony have got a long way to go yet. Sure. We've come a long way together. We enjoy working together, and we ain't finished yet.
No,
that's right.
You bet your life we ain't finished yet. I wouldn't know what to do.
Well, don't you sit down and you enjoy watching your telly and having a drink at your daughter's pub? Has she still got the pub?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a telly addict, and I do like a pint and a half over my daughter's pub, but I need Tony and his songs to keep me alive and keep me going for the rest of my life. That's what I mean, yeah.
That is fab. Oh, by the way, do you remember, because I'll tell you where I saw you first. The Granary.
Yeah.
Bristol Granary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crikey.
If you got, because the place is now, like the Rum Runners closed down, somebody turned that into a set of flats, but there's a website the Granary website. If you go on it, it's got old photographs, and you'll see some old photographs of you performing there.
Okay. Yeah, we used to enjoy that. I mean, the guy that ran that, he was do you remember the old guy?
Yeah.
He was like a cool guy, he was.
Oh, yeah, we got him. He was a nice bloke, he was. He loved his bands and his music, his rock and roll, yeah.
Rodney Matthews would meet us there, because Rodney lived in Bristol for us, a long time, I suppose.
Yeah.
But he would come down and bring... in fact, he brought me the artwork on a storyteller's night. I was sitting on the bus outside the gig, and Rodney walked in and went, "Oh, here's your, cover." He hadn't painted it yet, but it was all a sketch, and it was like brilliant. So, and that's like one of the, I think one of the covers that like people always talk about. I think. Did
you say? Did I hear you or read something? You said that the album it was a bit Middle Earthy.
Not mine. No, I wouldn't say that.
No, he wouldn't say that.
Bob might have said that.
I might have said that. Well, yeah, the cover especially, I think. Yeah. So that probably from me. Well, yeah, there's little guys in there and the big fire and the beams, and yes, it's looking a bit like a scene from Lord of the Rings. That's the impression I've got, and other people have said to me. So it's a nice warm feeling, and then you got the album as well, and you put it all together. It's the whole feel of the whole package. That's what I meant.